Hello everyone, Incente here, and today I've got a really special episode for you all. As some of you may know, a new Go computer video game has just been dropped called the Conquest of Go, and I wanted to share my thoughts on this game with the Go community. I think it's an incredible game, but since it does cost a fair chunk of change, about $15, I thought it would be useful to give everyone sort of an understanding of this game, what they can do with it, what they're expected to get out of it, and how you can get the most enjoyment out of the Conquest of Go. So I'm really excited. So let's jump into it. The Conquest of Go is developed by Wolfie Studios, and they created this game to help make Go a little bit more accessible to the main population. As most Go players know, Go is a little bit arcane. It's a little bit hard to get into if you don't know where to go. So a really cool, well fleshed out, popular video game, such as this one, is honestly just what the Go community needs. And so when you boot up the game, you get this really calm, what seems like sort of like Norse music a little bit, like a very folksy kind of Lord of the Rings Shire vibe I'm getting. The Go stones are very cool. They're also a little bit Shire-esque. You have black and white, but they look like they're made of stone, like cracked castle stone. Instead of the normal slate and shell that we're used to. I like the board, and I like how smoothly all the stones are being placed. What I also like is how when stones are connected horizontally or vertically, you actually get a connection here. They're visibly connected when the stones are connected, which I really do like. So what is the Conquest of Go? So I played its open beta version, and essentially it is a really beautiful Go package that allows you to play AI and on the online Go server. So the AIs that are available are based on campaigns. If you want to click new campaign, you get to choose how often you get to play each size of the board. You get to choose how many resources are available for your computer. And there are three AIs, GNU Go, which is the weakest AI, Hybrid AI, which is mid, and Kata Go, which is the strongest AI. The weakest version of Kata Go is about a 4 Dan, and you get to toggle the AI strength here, which is very, very cool. Once you set up your settings, you can just click Start, and you're brought to the main battlefield, and this is really cool. Essentially, it's going to be you trying to conquer all of these different lands by playing games. You can click on any land, and it gives you your battle history if you played games there, but if not, you just click Start Match. And here are your matches. There's a couple of really cool things to note here. On the left-hand side are your abilities. Now, this will give you ways to fight the AI, quote unquote. You get to use your resources, which is wood, wheat, stone, and gold, to actually get an edge over your AI opponent. You can destroy the last stone to restore the previous board state, estimate your territory, find the best moves, and find the best variations, but only if you have enough resources. Here you're brought to the main board, and on the upper right, you can actually change the board state. You have a green pasture going to a really cool white and black transparent theme, to a sandstone theme, to a traditional board theme, and back to the light green theme. So there's really cool themes to use here, and honestly, I really enjoy the smoothness of the play style, and I really enjoy the smoothness of the music. If we start to play here, we can see the AI is starting to respond. And the other really cool thing is based on where you move, it tells you what your move is called. I just did a one-space jump. And it shows you not only what a one-space jump is, but the purpose of that one-space jump, which I think is really, really cool. As you can see, this is the Kosumi. Here's the Kima. And you continue to play. And as you advance your moves, the AI continues to adjust. One really cool thing is that your AI is going to adjust to how well you play. So if you beat the AI really quickly the first time, they're going to adjust your handicap. And then they're going to adjust your stones themselves. As you finish a game, you will either win or lose, and if you win, you get to conquer this land and continue to control more and more areas. If you would like to play with someone in real life, You can do quick play. You can play a quick match against somebody that's in the room with you. This is a local Go board, or if you want to do a game demo, you can do that as well. It has a tutorials function, which shows you all the beginner basics. You learn about territory scoring, ladders, nets, and almost all other fighting techniques that you would need to know, as well as some advanced strategy, like the 3-3 invasion. The beginner basics is a cute little 9x9 experience that shows writing and different challenges. As you can see, this sort of takes you through, shows you how many liberties each stone has, and shows how those liberties are expanded. As you can see, this goes through the mechanics of capturing and the mechanics of efficiency. In the settings, you have board settings, the text size, you can tune your playback settings, your AI settings, where you tune and retune Katago, audio, graphics, and general settings. As you play more games on this platform, you'll be able to save your matches. Your saved matches will show up in here, and you can go through them and actually analyze them with the AI, which is pretty impressive. In the extras button here, you actually have all different terms that explain the different parts of Go. Alive, approach, attachment, Atari, base, and a host of other terms. So if anyone's confused, they can always just head to this glossary and figure out what's going on. Now, if you don't want to play AI, not to worry, this game has you covered. You can actually play online with your online Go server account, OGS for short. This is actually plugged directly into the OGS server and will show you your match history, show you your ranking, show you any challenges, and will actually show you all current games being played both on OGS and within this app. Not only can you play or watch OGS games on this app, but you can look at users, you can look at your groups of friends, you can add friends. It looks exactly like your OGS account, which I think is one of the coolest features about this shell. Here you can click into someone else's game and just watch, just like you would with OGS. You can save the game, you can chat, show the move history, change the audio, create a link, or notify the mod. So this really has an incredible amount of functionality and is basically a fancier OGS baked into a computer program. The invasions are actually a really cool mechanic, where every so often there will be an invasion in one of the lands that you've conquered. Once that invasion happens, you are both set up to have a line of black and a line of white stones. Those lines now have to do battle to control the rest of the board. It's a really cool way of turning Go on its head and making it seem like there's actual armies fighting each other over control of the land. I really love this idea, and I would love to see the Conquest of Go developers implement this to greater degrees. Maybe have more mini games, different shapes of the armies, maybe different objectives within the bounds of this AI game. I think it can go a long way to making Go much more fresh and fun from a video game perspective. So that is the Conquest of Go. It's a really cool way to gamify playing against AI and give OGS players an opportunity to play other people in a much cleaner and softer and more inviting setting. Pros. I think the pros of this game is a really beautiful shell for playing Go. The music is very nice. The extra little verbs that they add when they show you your move order is very, very cool. The glossary is great. The stone aesthetics are very, very cool. I like the different board options, and the little details they have when you capture or when you connect your stones are incredibly, incredibly satisfying. I like that they're turning playing an AI into a game, because personally I don't play AIs very much, so this will help me play a little bit more Go against computers when I might otherwise not. I like how they included the OGS API plugin, so even if you don't want to play against an AI, you can play against friends. Now, some potential cons, because this is a purchase. Maybe not cons, but things I noticed that might be able to be improved. The first thing is that I think that the tutorial might be a little over beginners' heads. This might just be my opinion for teaching, but I feel like they start out talking about territory, but they don't really define what territory is. The player, if you're coming in here, you have no idea what Go is. You don't really understand what it means when you say an area controlled by one color. And then after territories, they sort of jump straight into liberty counts and start telling you how to capture. Whereas since the previous thing was just about territories, I think that might confuse some beginner players. Yeah, they immediately start talking about liberties and capturing. And it sort of makes the game seem like it's all about capturing stones, which capturing is only half the coin of Go. And when you're introducing it to new players, you have to be very careful about how you introduce it. I'm curious to see if other beginners found this confusing or if this was okay. That could just be my opinion. So if you take this tutorial, in the comments, please let me know if you thought this tutorial was good for beginners or could use some improvement. I think that'd be really beneficial to both the developers and the community at large. In terms of some other cons, I noticed there were a few bugs in the campaign, particularly for Katago. Sometimes Katago wasn't actually able to play. You'd start a game here, and you'd make a move, and Katago would get stuck. This time it happened to work, but I have noticed times where it did not work. They might have fixed that in the patch, so if so, that's awesome. I'm sure it's just a temporary problem, but that is something to note. Although I really enjoy the gamified sort of using your resources to help you out in your fight against the AI, I think that a little bit more plot might help this game become really, really entertaining. And honestly, those are really the only drawbacks I can think of. This is an incredibly well-designed game, and you could really tell how much love there was for Go in everything about this, from the stone designs to the little power-ups to the raids. And I'm really, really impressed with this, and it's $14.99 on Steam. And while I think it might be it's $14.99 on Steam, and while I think it might be a smidge overpriced, I still think it's definitely worth the money. I would buy this again, and I would absolutely support the developers of this game because you can tell how much they really just loved the idea and concept of Go. It takes playing AI, which is normally a really, in my opinion, dry experience, and turns it into a really fun little challenge. And it really helps you visualize your armies moving across the board in a way traditional Go hasn't been able to capture yet. So my first impressions for the Conquest of Go is a 4 out of 5. I think this is a really, really solid start. I think that there's room for it to grow. I think having some more exposition, fixing some of the AI bugs, and maybe tweaking the tutorial a little bit to make it a little less 0 to 100 for new players might be some ways to improve the game. But I will definitely be playing this game a lot. I will be getting a lot of use out of it, and I love the online play function. That is my favorite part of this whole thing. So what are your thoughts on the Conquest of Go? The link is in the description below if you want to purchase it. But for those of you that have purchased it, how do you feel? Did you like it? Do you think things can be changed? What are your feelings? I want to know. So definitely leave a comment in the subscription. Leave a comment in the subscription. Leave a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe for more Go content. Can't wait to play more of this game, and I can't wait to stream more of this game. So until then, take care everyone, and I will see you on the grid.